Hey guys, Tarke here, and today we're going to be talking all about the Path of Exile Heist Balance Manifesto. Now, I just want to say before we get into this, any Path of Exile streamer Balance Manifesto video is worthless because they mean nothing until we get patch notes, and I've always found it dumb that YouTubers make content on Balance Manifestos. But anyway, with that being said, let's give you my thoughts, without the patch notes, on the Balance Manifesto. This is the first Balance Manifesto I've been iffy on in quite a long while. The last couple of leagues, I've been like, yep, there's a few rough changes in there, like a few hard nerfs, I 100% agree. This one, most of the changes, I'm kind of like, at best, and some I'm just straight up no. So I'm just going to skim through, I'm not going to read it word for word. So, Ascendancies. They've lowered the offering effect on Mistress of Sacrifice, on both Necro and Ascendant, back down to 50%. It used to be 50% before, it's now 75%, so it's going back down to 50%. It's a fine change. It was still good at 50%, but to me it's the wrong change. The main issue we've seen, and I'll talk about this again for Glancing Blows, is the life recovery on block. Bone Offering is the problem here. I would have just nerfed Bone Offering, because you need to keep in mind there are some people, especially in softcore, who just use Flesh Offering because they want to go fast, they want to zoom, and those guys weren't broken. They weren't ruining the game. They weren't like overbalanced. So don't hurt the Flesh Offering boys because Bone Offering was too good. So this change I don't really like. I would have just hit Bone Offering. Yeah. That, it works, but it's not the change I would have done. I don't necessarily agree with that. Next up, we've also lowered the critical strike chance and the multiplier on the Assassin's Deadly Infusion and the critical strike multiplier on the Assassin's small passives. We don't know by how much, so this is pure speculation. Without knowing the exact numbers, we can't say. If I had to guess, I'm going to assume that the 8 crit multi per power charge has probably gone down to 5 or 6, and the crit chance has probably gone down to like 1.5. Assassin's generically powerful. Unless they completely remove nodes, it will still be good. Ambitious Assassinate is a really good node, Opportunistic is a really good node, Mistwalker is a really good node. Even if they somehow completely killed Deadly Infusion, you could very reasonably do Mistwalker, Ambush Assassinate, Opportunistic, Unstable Infusion, and still have, like, a good Ascendancy. So, I think it's fine. Yeah. I'm very glad they didn't hit Opportunistic, Mistwalker, or Ambush and Assassinate, because these are interesting. This isn't particularly interesting, it's just powerful. I think it's perfectly fine. I think it's fine. Would have liked to see an Elementalist buffs, but that's beside the by. If you were playing on an Assassin's build, you'll still be fine. Alright, Glancing Blows. We've changed Glancing Blows to cause more damage to pass through your block. You now take 65% of the damage from blocked hits. It was previously 50. Again, and they even say it here, the Keystone combined with the effects that recover life or energy shield on block were providing too much survivability for too little investment. The life recovery is still the problem. I don't know, it seems really weird to me that they're hitting everything but life recovery. Life recovery will still end up getting nerfed, like, a couple of leagues from now. I feel like this is going to be one of those changes that, like, a year from now or whatever, they'll nerf the life recovery, and then it's like, well, they're not going to rebuff Glancing Blows, they're not going to rebuff Necro. This is, like, a very GGG thing to do. There's been a few cases where they've done, like, they've nerfed all the surrounding problems rather than addressing the core problem. And then when they then go back and address the core problem, all the stuff that got nerfed is now, like, crazy nerfed. Yeah, I don't really like this change. Glancing Blows will still be good. Glancing Blows is still really strong. A lot of builds just root through it naturally. It's just a couple of points. Some people just go, like, if you're Chieftain, it's just 1 point. I'll still play Glancing Blows. But, yeah, I don't like it. I think recovery is the way better way of going about doing it. Divine Flash. This change I like. This is a good one. The Divine Flash Keystone provided an extremely strong defensive layer against elemental and chaos damage, provided you could get enough chaos resistance. We've lowered the amount of maximum chaos resistance Keystone gives to +5, making investment to maximum chaos res more necessary to get the same defensive outcome. There's loads of ways of getting maximum chaos res. You can get it in cluster jewels, you can get it on quivers, you can get it on chest pieces. Yeah, I think you can get it on 100 chest pieces, but you can definitely get it on quivers, you can definitely get it on cluster jewels. Divine Flesh is still incredibly strong. Divine Flesh, still great. Still super powerful. Yeah, this is a good change. Divine Flesh was too good. I actually spoke to Octavian, who was streaming a couple of days ago, and we were like predicting what we're going to get nerfed, and we were saying like, you know, glancing blows, necro, life recovery on block, and we were saying divine flesh. How do you nerf it? Probably just lower the maximum chaos res. Good change. I like this change. Enduring Cry. This change I really dislike. This Warcry combined with a Calls to Arm, that's the instant Warcry node, gave convenient defense with little or no player interaction. You're increasing Enduring Cry's cooldown to 8 seconds and requiring at least one enemy to be in range to generate endurance charges in order to increase the importance of positioning and timing during gameplay. So, why don't I like this change? Enduring Cry, if you didn't know, gave you a insane health regen buff, and it gave you a very good physical mitigation buff. You could get 100% uptime on the physical mitigation buff. The regen is still busted. The regen's still really, really good. I would have much rather they nerfed the regen. They could have changed the duration on the fizz mitigation, so you didn't have 100% uptime. They could have introduced some kind of like elusive style effect where like you had to let the buff fall off before you could refresh it again. There are clever ways they could have gotten around the 100% uptime. By nerfing the cooldown, they screw over discharge, which seems weird to me because one of the new skills they're reworking is discharge, and then they were saying like, oh, self-cast ignite discharge, and then it's like, but long enduring cry and stuff like earth shatter. It seems like this hurts the builds that were using enduring cry innocently, like the builds that were using it correctly, like they weren't cheesing it with like instant just keep it auto and left click, whereas the builds that just had it auto and left click will still just have it auto, or they'll just have it instant and they just press Q for easy defense when they need it. But yeah, I don't know, I would have hit the buff, I would have hit the regen, I wouldn't have hit the uptime, because there are skills that need you to be able to quickly generate charges or need you to proc war cries to proc other things. I don't like this change. It'll still be good, you can still invest into it, but yeah, I feel like it addresses the wrong part of the issue. I don't know. Ball Lightning. Ball Lightning combined with Slow Approach outcosts damage of other spells, so it's had its damage and area lowered slightly. I don't ever like area nerfs to skills that didn't, like, the area wasn't the problem with Ball Lightning. Ball Lightning just had really good damage. I think nerfing the damage would have been is fine. I think they could maybe just hit the Slow Approach interaction a bit, like changing the tick rate, but whatever, it's fine. Spell Slinger, I think I like the Spell Slinger change. Triggering spells with Spell Slinger was fast and more convenient than other methods of casting spells while leveling. It now has a longer cooldown, but gains more cooldown recovery as it levels, make it more rewarding to reach higher gem levels. The skill now starts with a reservation override of 30, scaling down to 25. So the reservation's gone up a bit, but tapers down. The cooldown's gone up, but tapers down. Spell Slinger was really good. Spell Slinger will still be good. Yeah, I think that's fine. Redemption Sentry, I like and dislike this change. Redemption's Sentries, if you don't play Spectres, was by far the best Spectre, really strong. So what they did is they've nerfed its damage and its life. I really dislike it when a minion is like overperforming in terms of damage or clear speed. So like, okay, we'll nerf it, kill the life. Like, no. Minion builds, especially stuff with like Spectres, feel really rough when your Spectres start dying. Nerf the damage, nerf attack speed, like change the base, but like don't mess with the life. Let them be tanky, you know, just ugh. Redemption Spectres will probably still be amazing just because of like the AI and like the core like creature design, if that makes sense, is still very strong. So unless they've like completely destroyed its damage, you'll probably still use Redemption Sentries and you still have other good options. So yeah, Slave Drivers, Solar Guards, etc. Cluster Jewels. They've just specifically nerfed Precise Commander, Vicious Bite, and Vengeful Commander. Yeah, I think that's fine. This change, this is like 7 years coming. I like this change a lot. Vitality is now a level 10 aura. It now provides flat life regen and it has a flat mana reservation. So it's basically just life clarity. I started playing this game in beta 2013. People were saying, make Vitality like clarity. People were probably saying, do that back in alpha and stuff. Yes, finally, Vitality. Big yes. They've also changed some Watcher's Eye mods for precision and clarity, just because of how powerful it was to have like level 1 clarity, level 1 precision on Watcher's Eyes, which is a perfectly reasonable change. The Vitality change is really, really nice. Very excited to see that. Vile Impurity skills is just a slight change to stop people from cheesing it, 100% damage taken builds. Nice little change to ailment. So stuff like chill effect, shock effect, chill duration, Now they just like scale cold and lightning ailments, which is important for stuff like sap and brittle. Yeah, it's a small change. It only really matters to people who are like turning their ailments into other ailments, but it's a nice change. There's some reordering stuff they've done to projectiles. Basically, this only matters if you're using the new split mechanic. Yeah, interesting. If you're not someone who cares about split, you don't need to worry about that. It's niche, but it's a nice change. This, again, is just, it was stopping some cheese encounters. Don't worry about it if you don't understand it. It doesn't affect most people. This is a funny change. So they've buffed flat life regen mods, some of them by up to as much as 100%. If they're also buffing them in terms of unique items, that could be interesting, but if they're just like on rares, if you go on like PoE Affix or PoE DB and you look at the top rolls, instead of getting like 25 flat life, you'll now get as much as 50 flat life regen. It's still a dead stat, but I guess it's better, so it's a buff. If you're really big into crafting, this change to the mod tag system is very nice. It's very wordy. I'm not going to read through it, because most people this won't affect that much. TLDR, the tags make more sense now. If you're going to be doing any fossil crafting next league, double check, because the fossil crafting system might change a little bit based on what specifically you're trying to make. So, yeah. To summarize, nothing that, like nothing which super, like, really gets me going. Like, I don't like the Necro change. I don't like the Glancing Blows change. I don't like the Enduring Cry change. They're all things that should be nerfed and, like, they should be done differently. It's just, I think there are better ways of doing it, but I don't know. That's just backseat developing, I guess, at that point. I don't know. What do you think? Anything in here that you're really excited about? Anything that you feel like should have been nerfed that didn't get hit? Yeah. But anyway, let's wait for the patch notes tomorrow to see just how much. Especially Assassin guys, don't worry, you'll probably be fine. Also, one thing I probably should mention just on the Assassin point finally before we wrap up this video. If you were a, like, Crit Herald Zoom build, I guess sucks to be you, because you've kind of been double nerfed this patch. You've lost base crit, and you also need to keep in mind that Assassin's Mark is being reworked. Mark is now going to be more powerful and only affects individuals, so like specific bosses or rares. It's not something you can apply to every single mob because it has a limit of 1, rather than like an entire pack of monsters. So if you were previously using a skill with 0 base crit and you're using Assassin's Mark and Assassin to like bump up that crit as much as possible to make it a crit ability, those builds might be a lot worse. So yes, I guess that sucks. But I mean, no, I genuinely do think that sucks, because that was always a kind of an interesting way of warping PoE skills. But yeah, I am Tarke. Have a good day. Patch notes video tomorrow, by the way. Bye-bye.